Hey everybody, welcome to another video. It is warming up here in Japan. We are getting closer and closer to one of my favorite times of the year, Sakura season. But before we start the video, first of all, just this is off topic, but just amazed at the Ukrainians putting up such an amazing defense. Not much else to say, really. That's not the main point of this video, but you gotta support them. They are putting up one hell of a fight, and I hope they put up a hell of a fight continue just going on. Also, that and Putin has the world's smallest. I mean, I'd say it's the smallest you've ever seen, but it's so small you can't see it. So, all right, now that that is out of the way, let's get into Wotv stuff. Because while we are a community that cares. Pretty obvious that humanitarian efforts we should always be thoughtful of, while also insulting the bastard. Anyway, really want to just do an entire video about how awful that is, but let's talk about Wotv and a interesting week. So first of all, Global's week. This week is the return of the Halloween units, and honestly, I'm just going to tell you right now, the Halloween units are a pretty easy pass from my opinion. Like obviously with the second anniversary coming up, I think that you can spend your resources way better than this. And yeah, for me, it's just an easy pass, and it should be an easy pass for most globalers. Because short of Halloween Leela, I don't think that most on the JP side really are going to be holding too much weight. Raryu is always talked about in his TMR. I think if you don't have the unit already and you're not finishing up the unit already, it's just way too expensive, and there are probably going to be better versions of this in the future that are not limited, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Second of all, Halloween Frederica, she's just not a thing on the JP side. Noctis, Oberyn, there are other Earth Elemental characters that are much, I think, better, so I think it's a pass. The only one I give a passing recommendation to is Halloween Leela. I think that she's still good. I think that obviously one of the major benefits of this character is just being a 70 cost unit. So in terms of cost efficiency for events, it's pretty good. JP is a little bit different though, because obviously our JP side units, mages have to contend with some tough defense, and wind magic is not really something that's terribly fierce yet, but we'll see what Sadali does. All right. Next up, let's talk about the JP news. And this week, the real main thing I want to talk about is the producer live letter here. A couple of things worth noting. First of all, Sadali is coming, but we've gotten a little bit more of an idea of his piece of equipment. It will be a spirit penetration weapon, so that'll be good for mace users if they are magic. Other than that, Fire Selection Quest will be getting the upgrade this month to the new missions. So Minwu will be getting a piece of equipment, and Minwu is proving to be maybe a little bit more important with some of the tower stuff and whatnot. So it's not a bad idea to do the Fire Selection Quest from a JP player. But of course, Master Ability 2s are always one of the major things that we are focusing on now on the JP side, and this month is pretty stacked with them, probably indicating that we're not going to see another collaboration announced this month because there is no irregularities and it's just a whole bunch of characters. Not that particularly Master Ability 2s probably take that much effort to be done. All right, so second week of March will be, first of all, You Are Mont, which is interesting. He's not that old of a character compared to some other characters, but he is getting his Master Ability 2. I think this will be really good for him because he's still a good unit, and this will just make him better. Ketone is also getting her next one. I hope there will be something to make Drain Force a little bit stronger, just because I think it's a good balance ability for some of the more difficult to get through tanks. I think it's just a good idea to have Drain Force always as a solution to resistances. We'll see, but HP and Drain Force power up, please. Next up, Mariluke is getting hers. okay. We'll see what it looks like. And little Leela is getting hers as well. Neither of those two I'm particularly overly hopeful, but I do think they will get some Master Ability 2s that will be nice for them, but that's about it. All right, as for the 4th week, we are looking at Venera, first of all, hopefully making her, I don't know, faster, more evade, something like that, better than her EX was. That's all I really have to say about that. And last but not least, surprisingly, Ruel. I guess it has been a year for Mont and Ruel to the day, or well, day plus a couple of, like, the schedule matches up plus, I don't know, a couple months and a year. I think Venera stands a pretty good chance to get some evasion, but we'll see. That's probably going to mean more for global than JP, because she's just not being used as an evade character or even at all right now. Ruel is interesting. Ruel is not super underpowered, but I think that any kind of master ability might be really good for her. Seems to be a very Leonis month. Dario is also getting his. I think that will be potentially really interesting, because Dario was not bad for a limited cost character, and probably will just be even more important in the selection quest. And last is Silma, and Silma being a free character, I assume this means that we're going to see a rerun of Silma's quest and everything in the latter half of this month, which is fine. That's good for anybody who hasn't finished her up. Hopefully the Master Quest 2 makes her a little more competitive, because she's kind of interesting, and heck, Red Mages, why not? I've been running a Red Mage in style build in Elden Ring lately, which is pretty fun, by the way. More Elden Ring videos in the future. But that's basically everything that I really want to talk about for the news, which brings us to our main topic tonight, and I'm going to remember the 7-minute mark, because somebody asked for time codes. All right. So this week, I'm not really interested in talking about anything too much to do with news, because Sadali's going to be Sadali. His AI is either going to be good or not, but the thing I want to talk about is stability and app stability. Tonight, for example, when I was on stream for roughly about 2 hours, I experienced about 7 crashes, and there you go. And it's not just a BlueStacks problem. Some people might be saying, hey, Umbra, well, you're playing on an emulator. Emulators aren't technically official, so they're probably not set to run properly. My problems with emulators actually runs pretty deep, and it seems like a lot of people are having problems with these. But this is not my major issue. My major issue is the fact that it also runs poorly on phones nowadays, to the point of I have set it up for long stints of farming, come back and found my phone to be incredibly unresponsive. There's no other apps running. I've checked, I've cleared data, all of the memory and everything. And yeah, some apps do reload. I mean, that's just what they do. But I have to say that it seems like ever since specifically the New Year's update, we've been getting worse and worse in terms of the app performance. And what's one of the most important things that you can do with this game? Well, play it. And it really bugs me, because before the New Year's update, it was running really smooth on JP. I had no problems, no issues. It was running perfectly, and just with all the more big updates that we've been getting recently, it's been getting worse and worse. JP has suffered quite a bit lately through half gigabyte downloads to 2 gigabyte downloads while they've been tinkering around with some stuff in the app. But my big thing is that we always get these list of quality life updates every month, and I have to tell you, I think that they are getting to the point of entirely just way too extraneous and just way too mini issues that really aren't many people's issues at all. Like, one of the things that's being added in JP really soon is a ability for guild leaders to use inactive members to attack enemies. First of all, that doesn't make me feel super good about the player count in this game. But secondly, I mean, that's more of an issue with people just not playing the game because they're doing something else, something better, or something more fun. I don't know, if it doesn't feel like this is something that needs quality of life issues, even though it is a issue for the game. I would really just love for us to can all of the quality of life upgrades. Not because they aren't needed, not because the game doesn't still need to be improved or the UI needs to be better. I mean, all of these things are things that happen. But if the app isn't working properly, maybe you should fix and focus on that. Maybe stability should be the quality of life update that we are all looking for, because it's just maddeningly frustrating to play any of these games and just not have it work. Be it a gacha game or a game you've actually paid for. I can think of more recently of some of the gacha games that I've quit because the apps just didn't work, because they were giving me bad connection when I didn't have any reason to have a bad connection, or, you know, even if up to Cyberpunk when it launched last year, and even though I was playing it and enjoying it, I was crashing every hour and a half, and that's just not fun. It's not fun to lose progress. It's not fun to see your phone just chug to a halt. None of this is good, and yeah, I think that stability needs to be way bigger of a focus for the developers. Not these quality of life updates, not Link First, which is, as far as we can tell, some form of Reddit, Discord, Facebook that's controlled by Gumi, that's like a messenger app for this game, which nobody asked for, nobody wanted, and nobody needed, because we already have Reddit, Discord, and, well, I guess Facebook and Twitter are still a thing for now, or Meta, or whatever the hell they're calling it. Point being is that I get it. Upgrades and tweaks to AI and fixes to all of these things and making the game better is important, but ever since the game has launched, there's just constant quality of life updates, usually at the sacrifice of performance. And I think we need to focus, maybe just take 6 weeks off, or like 3 weeks off, and just try and get your app actually working. Because let me tell you, I just cannot for the life of me appreciate or just enjoy the fact of how much we are having to put up with just instability and crashes, because it's not good for us, and I'm sure it's not good for global either. So Gumi, this is my message to you. Fix the damn game. Fix the damn app. Now, to end this video on a slightly more upbeat note, after, you know, reminding you of some bad stuff, let's talk about this for a second. Generation 9 of Pokemon was announced, and everybody may not be planning on playing this, but everyone usually has an opinion on the starters. So we have a grass cat, a fire crocodile, and a water duckling. I just have to ask of what you, dear viewer, likes the best, because generational starters, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Generation 1 Pokemon, but you know, I'm honestly curious what you guys think. Which is the best to you? Sound off. However, I'll tell you right now before we end the video that it's definitely Grass Cat. And if you want to hear more about that, I can go into great detail. Just Game Freak, please don't make it stand up on 2 legs. Please. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Take care and see you next time. And yes, it was Mega Man 8 music playing in the background. See ya.